It's been 1 year since Christie Rainwater was elected the mayor of the City of Hanahan. 1 year later, I sit down exclusively with her for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and download my free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Mayor Christie Rainwater, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thanks so much, Quintin. It's always a pleasure to see you.
I appreciate it greatly. Obviously, it's been a year since you became the mayor of Hanahan. And I want to go to your Facebook page because you said this quote, 1 year ago today, I was elected as mayor of Hanahan. While our council and staff have accomplished much this year, the vision I cast that night is unchanged. When each of us use our God-given talents and passions to be a, quote, hashtag difference maker in our community, together we can do so much more. Let's all be difference makers in our extraordinary city. Let me break that down a little bit. What is the difference between Christie Rainwater 1 year ago to right now?
Well, it has definitely been a learning experience for sure. Thankfully, I had a little bit of experience on city council, but becoming a mayor was definitely stepping in some big shoes. Lots of opportunity to really see things and move with things in a direction that would benefit our city. So one thing that I've done is our downtown area. I knew that we needed to provide some services that I call quality of life business. We do have a great industrial area, but very few restaurants. There's not a primary doctor in the city. We just got a pediatrician this year, but provide certain needs. Things that I didn't really dig as deep into last year until I had the opportunity to become mayor and see now. Also, forming relationships has been such a huge benefit. Christie last year knew a few people and did a few things, but really having a seat at the table and bringing Hanahan the benefit of forming those relationships and being able to work well around the Lowcountry on all different issues that affect every one of us. So some of us have the amazing opportunity to live and work right in Hanahan, and it's an amazing city, so it's a great opportunity, but oftentimes people do work or do business outside of the city, so making sure that our voice is heard because we are in the entire Lowcountry. So those have been some really cool changes over the past year that I've been able to step into that I didn't even know about before being elected.
Wow. You talk about obviously staying within the county and forming relationships. Obviously, Ricky Waring is the new Somerville mayor. Talk to me about how you want to form the relationship with that mayor.
Well, it's so fun to be on things like the Council of Government Board, the Chats Committee. So there's different committees around the Lowcountry where we have an opportunity to all come to the table and say, how does this work together for us as a region? And so Wiley Johnson was always at those meetings. He was a strong voice there, and I fully expect the new mayor to have that same strong voice and represent a city. I've seen his history as fire chief, and so I have not met him yet, but I am excited to meet him. And I always really enjoy that part of being a mayor where you do get to form relationships with other cities and work together for the entire region as a whole. As a whole. And obviously, North Charleston Mayor Keith Summey has been reelected. Talk to me about how you want to continue that working relationship. Keith Summey is a literally neighbor touching our city. And so I met with him, I guess a few months ago now, and we just talked about our cities. You know, they border in several areas. And so it really has to be a continued working effort. We are revitalizing our downtown area, which touches Remount. So I had talked to him a little bit about, efforts being on both sides would really, again, just like that message that you read from my Facebook post, when you do more together, more gets done, but exponentially. And so really working hard with him, same thing for the region, to make sure that our city grow together in the right direction. So I was talking to a staff member not that long ago, and he was saying how, some people really force change. Okay. And then I said, well, you have the other side of that where people really try to stop change. But the problem is change is going to happen no matter what. So instead of trying to be far to one side where you're preventing change or far to the other side where you're forcing change, neither is really healthy. But what you want to do is purposefully direct change. And that way you're making sure that the change is happening is heading in a direction that you want it to. Because on either side, forcing it or bucking it, you're really not going to wind up with an ideal situation. Ideal situation. Let me go back to that because you said this quote, while our council and staff have accomplished much this year, the vision I cast that night is unchanged. When each of us use our God-given talents and passions to be a difference maker in our community, together we do so much more. What is your vision for Hanahan 5 to 10 years from now? That's a great question. So really what we want to make sure is that taxes stay low.
Okay.
So working on economic development right now and making sure that it's an inviting place to be in 5 to 10 years, to make sure that the taxes stay low is really, really important to me. So I've definitely been doing a lot and putting a lot of focus in our downtown area to assure that. The other thing is our schools are national award-winning schools.
Sure.
And it's because we are a bedroom community, because we care so much about our residents, because the people that are there care so much about the next generation and invest in that. So we want to make sure that we do that. And then I think even making sure it continues to stay the safe place it is. It's one of the safest cities in the state of South Carolina. It's because we do community policing.
Sure.
It's because our fire department, we just did an open house with our fire department recently, and they're so engaged with the community. It really is like a sweet little family. So I think to not really make it look like something different 5 or 10 years from now, but continue to head in the direction that we're at, where it's a great bedroom community. We do offer a downtown area that'll help prevent taxes from going up. And also the other big issue is continuing to work on flooding to make sure, again, safety first.
Safety first. What's the current tax right now in the city of Hanahan?
Well, our millage rate is, I think it's 0.52, but we just had to lower it because assessments, our house values went up a bit. So we lowered our millage rate to make sure taxes stay low. And actually, if people look specifically at their tax bill in our area, they got a little bit extra money back when you add together the tax plus the credit. So we're in a pretty good spot with that.
Good spot with that. And you talked about, obviously, restaurants. How many more restaurants do you want to bring to the city of Hanahan?
Well, right now we have 27,000 residents and 9 places to get food. And that includes takeout. So when you look at those numbers, it's just not the best situation. So I'm not really set on a specific number, but what I want to make sure that we're doing is meeting the needs of our residents. I don't want them to have to battle traffic to get home from work and then battle traffic to go back out and feed their family. So a project that I'm super excited about, and I think this might be the first interview that actually hears about it, so go Quintin. But right across from our city hall area, we had purchased some land and we were going to sell it, but we had a vision for it. And it's really to provide that need that we see for our residents. So we're putting in a food truck park in downtown Hanahan, and I am so excited. So we're going to be having a series of food trucks that'll rotate in and out daily. There's actually a barn in the back of it. So we're going to be painting it, revitalizing that. So there'll be indoor seating, outdoor seating, and we'll be able to feed our people, throughout the day, throughout the week. And we're still solidifying the plans for that, but it'll really be a fun family space that, there'll be some cornhole, some games. You can just relax and enjoy. But yet, if there's an issue, it's cold or weather, the barn will be there. So indoor seating, outdoor seating, a variety of food trucks. And so I'm super excited about meeting that need as soon as we can for our city. We're expecting it to open in spring of 2020.
Oh, exciting.
Very much so.
Yes, indeed. You talked about flooding. Obviously, there's been a lot around this county about fill and bill ordinances. What ordinances would you implement in the city of Hanahan to stop flooding there?
As far as stopping the flooding, it's really happening in an area that's already developed within like housing area, residential. And so we're working with the Army Corps of Engineers. They just came this past fall to kind of share where they are in the process. And we're expecting a full report in 2020 of some suggestions on how to make it better. As far as current ordinances, though, our staff has worked really hard to make sure that we are making best choices moving forward. And so houses now need to be elevated that are anywhere on the water. Our Buildings and Codes Department did a great job of meeting certain criteria that allowed us to make sure that residents in the city of Hanahan have a lower flood insurance rate. So insurance rates just last year went down, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, but 20%, which is a huge savings overall. So we're doing everything on our end that we can. Obviously the ocean is a monster, and for us it's tidal. But we are doing everything we can to keep our residents safe and to prevent that in the future.
And obviously, when you talk about public safety and fire and police and obviously restaurants, how is public service, really public transportation, going in your mind for Hanahan?
Public transportation? Well, that's actually a really fun topic for me too, because as you're probably aware, the Low Country Rapid Transit line is coming to Charleston, and they're underway with studies right now, and hopefully within the next 5 years, everyone will be riding it. And so I've had the opportunity to speak a bit with a Metro Chamber of Commerce and some other just speaking opportunities to share how it will affect Hanahan. And so our city is kind of long. And so there will actually be 4 stops that don't come into Hanahan, but they're just blocks away, walking distance within a mile. And so those 4 stops will be able to provide transportation for residents that are currently commuting, one way or the other, down to Charleston, up to Somerville, with ease. And so what I love about this, and this is what I've even encouraged, we as residents have our part to do where we give it a try, do it, see if you like it. Let me tell you, I've ridden public transportation, and it's very relaxing to have someone driving you and chauffeuring you around compared to dealing with traffic. The Low Country Rapid Transit will have a dedicated line, so there's not going to be traffic to deal with, stops, you're just going to go. The other thing that I've encouraged businesses to do is get on board with making this attractional for your employees. So maybe you see them log on at 8 when they get online, that starts their workday. If they're able to answer emails, maybe some riders want to use that for downtime. They catch up with a book, they listen to a podcast, but other riders may be interested in starting their workday, and that could always be included in their hours. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for those that choose to ride it. And this being just blocks away from our city is really going to impact a large portion of our residents. And I know CART is going to get on board with anyone that's not within blocks to make sure that it's accessible to them. The biggest thing that I'm excited about as far as this is one of the stops at Remount and Rivers is literally half a mile from our downtown area. Okay. There is so much opportunity for redevelopment in our downtown area right now. And just knowing that this can provide, housing, restaurants, space for those that do have that commute, but might like to take the rapid transit instead of taking their car, and to have it just blocks away is going to be a huge impact for our downtown area. So I'm expecting to see a lot of good things coming up as the Low Country Rapid Transit gets underway.
Yes, indeed. And the downtown revitalization, how long will that be before it actually gets completed?
Well, goodness gracious, that's going to be a while. So we've done kind of our part. We're actually at the very tail end of doing some beautiful sidewalks and landscaping. We're currently in the phase where we're burrowing the power lines underneath so that they won't be above. Sure. And then we actually found our city administrator did a great job, Mike Cochran, of just trying to look at different options for lighting. Lighting was super expensive through Dominion. And he found a solar lighting option that saves us hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's great for the environment. Wow. So those are going in right now. And then I've been working really closely with developers and business owners, as well as potential business owners, to bring in the businesses that we talked about and needed. And so our part, kind of that public investment has been, we're really at the end of that. We've redone the road, just a great thing. But as far as the private part, I don't want it to just say, the downtown revitalization is done. We put in our sidewalks, we put in our lights, hands off. I want to continue to work with the developers, the business owners, to make sure that it's always providing the needs of our citizens, that they have a place to go right in our city to take care of what they need. So actually, I don't know if there will ever be an end date, Quintin, to that revitalization. As long as our citizens have needs and there's space for that, we'll be making sure they're being met.
Now, how much money do you want the developers to really contribute to the community with the downtown revitalization?
I want it done well. I'm not necessarily going to put a price tag. As a business owner myself, I fully understand that, we have limited resources, so we have to work within those. But a lot of the time, we can do that in a way that's still done well. So I just took my family out for dinner recently, and there was a restaurant that was having a deal. It was like half price. And I said, family, we're not eating at home tonight. We're all going out to this restaurant and we're all ordering this. Right. But the point was, we got something for double the quality. The quality was up here, but for half the price. And so I don't think it's a place where we have to cut back on quality. And it's not a place where we have to say, well, we just can't do that. We just have to figure out what works, where we're providing good quality, but at a benefit to that business owner as well.
Mayor Christie Rainwater, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thanks so much, Quintin. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. It's always so good to see you.
Likewise.